How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we have the 4th episode of Refine It, and I still have enough submissions for the next 2, maybe 3 episodes as well, so I'm not taking any submissions at the moment. And also I'm thinking of changing up the format of the series, so instead of it being an actual video, I would look at creating or setting up a stream for an hour or so every other week and kind of provide live feedback to pieces that have been submitted by you guys on the day, or you can send them to me in advance as well, and I can kind of just look over them, check them over, and then obviously you can kind of see the feedback in real time, and you can interact with me as well during that live stream. So it kind of creates a better connection between me and whoever I'm providing the feedback to as well, because if they've got any other questions, I can kind of provide that. So let me know what you think about that, or if you would like me to kind of stick with the video format instead. Obviously, what you guys want matters to me more than what I think, so just let me know what you think, and we'll go with that moving on. I know that it's been a while since the last episode of this series, so just to give a quick refresher of what the series is about, it's basically a design feedback video where I go over designs that have been sent in by you guys. I give some initial feedback kind of upon a first look of the piece. I let you know what I like about the piece, I let you know what I don't like, and I do a quick speed out section after that, during which I make some basic adjustments that I think would help to improve the piece and take it to the next level. And then after the speed out, I do a quick kind of roundup of the changes that I've done and why I've done them. Obviously, it's quite surface level tweaks, but they should give you an idea of how to take your work to that next level, and also what you could try to do next time when designing, or you could even go back to a piece that you maybe submitted obviously for the series, or another piece that you've done in the past, and kind of redesign it using the tips that I provided during the video. Obviously, if you enjoy the video, please do leave a like and a comment, as it does help me out massively, and it helps me to kind of see what content is performing well and what you guys want to see in the future. And obviously, if you want to see more of my videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. But now let's get into it. So the first design in this video has been sent in by AmteX, and it's this Jamal Musiala design from the German national team. I do think it's from the Euros based on the kit, and I know it has been a while since that's obviously happened, but I apologize. It has taken me a little bit longer than I thought it would to get round to making more episodes of this series, but I will be making the next 2 or 3 within the next week or so, and I will have those scheduled and ready to go. So I'm going to try and get through these quite quick before we potentially switch to the different format of the series. But let's get into the design itself. The kit itself is an amazing kit. I've done a German kind of mini rebrand using this kit, as it's just so kind of unique and the color scheme's really, really cool. So I can see why you would have gone for this sort of design. The composition is solid. The cutouts are quite clean, even though there is a bit of a weird outer glow / drop shadow effect going on, which I think takes away from the cutouts themselves a little bit. Yeah, the colors, the dark purple matches really well with the shorts and kind of the bottom of the kit. There's a cool font used. I don't see fonts like this used a lot anymore. It's a lot more of a clean style, so I appreciate you trying to kind of incorporate a different display font on this piece, and I can really see why you've gone with this kind of diamond pattern in the background, obviously to kind of reflect the pattern that you've got in the kit. So yeah, that's great thinking. It's a good starting base, I think. There's a few bits that I think would improve this piece slightly. I think there's quite a bit going on with the textures. You've got the kind of the snow kind of overlay going on in the foreground, a lot of displacement as well, obviously using the diamond texture in the background, and there's a few little tweaks potentially maybe with the composition that you could do to kind of make this stand out even more. And I think a little bit more of a clean approach on this piece would have worked a lot better, with maybe potentially bringing in that pink from the top of the kit as well. That could work quite well. But overall, it's a really great starting base. The composition is good and solid, and yeah, I've done my rambling now, so let's see if I can do a few little tweaks, and then I'll talk you through those after the speed out section of this is done. So now you've obviously seen the speed art section of this redesign, and on the screen we've got the initial design that was sent in by AmteX, and then we've got the kind of the rework design of what I did just to kind of simplify the piece a little bit, and I think just make it stand out a lot more with that kind of the main cutout that you've got going on. So talking through the changes, what I've done, upon kind of just thinking more about the composition, I don't think this second cutout was kind of doing much. I think focusing on the in-action shot of Musiala was a better kind of avenue to go down. And it kind of just, I don't know, you've got this main kind of action shot poster look going on, and you kind of want to draw the attention to that cutout rather than having a just a second one in the background, really, which I don't think was doing too much. So I've obviously just got rid of that, and I've tweaked the composition of the German badge with the cutout, obviously made them slightly larger and kind of just put them more down, so you've got an even space at the top and the bottom of the composition. What I've also done is I've removed the diamond texture in the background and the little snow bits as well, just to kind of really bring, well, literally bring your attention to this middle of the piece. I've added a little bit more of a particle effect going around the edges of the piece, kind of similar to the snow effect, but a little bit simpler, not as in your face and not covering as much of this. I've dropped the text, as I don't think, again, this design, I think, yeah, just keep it clean. And, you know, the kind of the plain background really just helps to, again, draw your attention to the middle of the piece. You've got a really nice big badge, a really nice in-action shot of Musiala. So I thought just really bring it into the center of the piece and kind of get rid of any additional bits which potentially could drag your eye away from that and kind of take away from the impact that it's having. I've also brought in the pink color from the kit, and I've kind of just got it alternating. So you've got the pink and you've got the dark pink/purple going on, just like on the kit. And yeah, just, you know, little tweaks. I've changed the lighting slightly as well. There were a few light overlays that you had going. I've removed them, and I've just added a bit more of a glow in the middle of the piece. But, you know, it's not major changes. It might look like it is when you like toggle it on and off, but it's just literally repositioning a few bits, reworking the scale at a few bits, and then stripping back a few overlays that you had going on. And then I just brought in this faded, just random stadium picture that I found in the background just to kind of spice it up a little bit. You can obviously get rid of this piece as well and just kind of keep it at that to keep it even cleaner, which, you know, someone might prefer, but I just kind of wanted a little bit of something else, just to have it in the corners and then keep the opposite ones clean. But yeah, a little bit of a rework, rejig more than anything, a little bit of a recolor, but the solid base was really good. Cut out to a solid, even if they did have this little weird outer glow, which I wasn't a massive fan of, but, you know, it wasn't a massive change up. It's just little things that you can do to kind of simplify some of the pieces that you do in the future potentially. But yeah, thank you so much for sending through this piece, AmteX. The social links to everyone that has submitted their designs will be down in the description below, so make sure to check out those guys. And now let's get into design number 2. So design number 2 has been sent in by Rohaan, and it's not actually a football design, which is a nice change up, as we do a lot of football designs in the series. And, you know, if you have designs from other sports that you want to send in, please do. I will cover kind of most sport designs, or try my best to anyway, with obviously with this being a WWE. I'm not too sure on all the ins and outs of it, but obviously I will just kind of talk through it from a design perspective. And straight away, it's a very kind of striking poster look that you've got going on. The only thing that sticks out to me straight away, it's quite a low resolution, 1080 by 1080, which is obviously, it's fine, but ideally you kind of want to be working on a canvas that's like 2000 by 2000 if you're going to work in a 1x1, just so it's a bit higher res, and you can obviously scale it up if you want to, or kind of zoom in on all the details and kind of really just make your work stand out even more and feel that more premium high quality feel. But yeah, straight away, you know, 3 cutout composition. One thing that, again, kind of sticks out straight away, you've got this really good shot in the middle, and then you've got these two. This one works fine, even though it is a little bit, you know, it's not very clean with the cutout, which is surprising, as this one and the one on the right is very clean. But some bits have kind of been missed out and just erased with a soft brush, as you can see. But this one works well. This one, though, I think it would work better if he was facing the other way, just to kind of create a nice balance and a cohesion between the pieces, rather than having this kind of left looking, very heavy on the left looking kind of design. But you know, that can be easily fixed. Literally just flip it. Or obviously if there's any other pictures of him with the belt, obviously try and find one that kind of complements the other image that you use. So then you've got kind of the different directions on either side of the main cutout. Another thing, I'm not 100% sure whether you should have just stuck with black and white on all three, or maybe a red filter on all three of these. It could work a lot better, as obviously this one is really, really striking it in your face, and then you've got these two in black and white, which I'm not 100% sure whether they work. But, you know, again, that could be personal opinion. The text itself is quite cool. It's a nice combination of nice clean text and a bit more of a hand-drawn kind of feel with a thick stroke, which is quite cool. You don't see that a lot. And then nice bit of information as well, which is why I think this really looks like an event poster potentially. And you can kind of really play around with inspiration that you can find, especially on Pinterest. If you type in UFC event posters or WWE event posters, you will get a lot of inspiration for this kind of work. And there's a lot going on in the background, especially with it being composed of a few shots. We've got this main kind of stage area in the background here, the ring, and then you've got another one of the crowd, which kind of blends into this main image, which again, I think it's just too much really. But again, very, very easily fixed. Again, you know, solid base to kind of improve upon. It's in a 1x1 as well, which you don't see a lot. It's a lot of 4x5s that get sent in, so it's cool to work in a slightly different ratio. But yeah, let's see what I can come up with in the speed art. So with the speed art now being done, you've obviously seen the rework that I've done on the design, and obviously showing the before shot of what the design was and now showing the after. Again, it's not a massive change similar to the previous, well, maybe not as much of a change as the previous design was, but again, it's just a little bit more final tweaks and details that you can kind of really do, and it improves the piece massively in my opinion. It's very clean. It really draws your eye to the middle of this poster, and it kind of just really frames the cutouts that you've got going on. So again, just talking through the changes of what I've done here. Like I kind of mentioned in the before bit, I have just flipped the image on the right hand side just so it's all facing outwards rather than two of them kind of facing to the left. I've darkened the composition to the bottom just to kind of have that main image in the front and the foreground, kind of really just focusing on him and not having a lot going on in the bottom of the piece, just so your eye is really drawn again just to the middle of the composition. I've also added the same red photo filter to the other two cutouts, and then to change the kind of what you had going on with the black and white being on the back two, I've made the actual background itself black and white with some red overlays and lights being added behind the overall composition and the three cutouts. The text I've just changed slightly. I've just moved it further down. I've broke up the text a little bit just to again kind of give that real event poster look and feel. Obviously darkened this area so you can read the text a lot more clear, and it really just kind of leaves this space open so you can really see the images and the cutouts, should I say, of Damien Priest. And yeah, you know, it's very simple tweaks. It's just taking away, again, stripping back some of the design features that you've added in just to kind of really emphasize the imagery, as this image in the middle is really, really striking. It's very, very strong, looking at you directly in the eyes. So you don't really want too much going on around him. That's why I've kind of stripped back all these elements at the bottom. And then I've also added a blur in the background as well, just to, again, kind of frame this area of the design. So you can see it's not blurred here. I've used an iris blur, and then I've just blurred out the actual piece going into the border area of the artwork. But yeah, very simple tweaks. Again, as you can see, the before and after, not much has changed. I've just added a few lights behind the smaller cutouts, and I've added a bit of a glow behind the main one as well. A bit more of a red overlay around the edges of the main one as well. But yeah, little tweaks. It's very, very solid base. Again, just something to really think about when you're doing compositions like that. Really kind of have cutouts that match the direction. So one looking left, one looking right, ideal. And also the scale of the cutouts as well, as this one obviously being really, really close up to the face, this one being more of a full body shot. I've kind of tried to match them and kind of be level on each other just to create this nice kind of unison of the three cutouts, with obviously the main one taking more of the attention. But yeah, again, thank you very much for sending this piece through, Rohaan. It's a great starting base, and obviously all the socials again will be down in the description. And if any of you guys from this video that have been featured, if you want to get this PSD of the rework design, please do get in touch with me, ideally on Twitter or X, as that's where I'm most active, but I will also kind of look through my Instagram message requests every now and then. So if you drop me a message, I will get back to you and send you over a link. But now, with the first two done, let's move on to the third and final design of this episode. So our third and final design of this episode has been sent in by Yasser, and it's this design of Anderson Talisca, which is really, really cool in my opinion. It's very nicely done. There's not a lot straight away looking at this that I think I will actually want to change. It's a very, very solid piece. It's very cool. I love the chair concept, the pose of the cutout as well. It's really, really good. Very nicely done. This chair photography has been used quite a lot recently by a lot of football clubs, and it's really, really cool when it's done right. And I think in such a concept like this, it's a perfect place to use it. It's very cool. You don't see stuff like this a lot. Obviously, the chair photography, yes, you do, but the actual concept of it being in space, not a lot. And the use of kind of hologram projection screens as well of his best moments during his time at the club as well. Very, very cool. And yeah, I mean, this piece, I think, is really, really nicely done. It's of a very high standard. There's just a few little tweaks now looking at it that I think you could do to make this look even better. But yeah, very, very nicely done. You know, the execution, like I've mentioned, is amazing. The concept is really cool. We've not had such a strong submission, I think, in a while in the series. There's not a lot that I can do to improve this, I think, personally. But yeah, a few bits that I will probably work on in the speed out. The typography on this is quite weak in comparison to the actual design. So if I was to take off the stats on this piece and the camera raw, I think this looks much better already. I don't think you need to clog it up with text, essentially. Obviously, if you want to have it on, there's better ways of doing it, I think. And obviously the fonts as well being slightly different, I don't think they work too well together. But the actual design itself, amazing. Concept, composition, really, really great. And there's not much that I can do to improve this, but I will try. And obviously I will talk through my changes after the speed out section of this design is done. But let's get into it. So with the final speed out section of this episode now done, I will obviously talk you through what I've done with this design and obviously show you the before shot, as you can see on the screen right now, and then the after shot. Again, not a lot that I've actually changed on this. The actual design itself, I literally just moved the main cutout and just kind of aligned it centrally. I know that I understand why it was done this way. So the cutout itself is obviously central, as you can see the main line going down the screen. And if I just bring up a guide, you can see clearly that it does line up overall with the picture. But the thing that was throwing me off a little bit is the fact that the chair is not actually central. And I think this is what I was well, this is what was throwing me off essentially of the design. And as you can see now, the center of the design lines up with the chair. And even though his kind of knee is poking out slightly to the side, it still feels natural. It feels very nicely centrally justified. With the chair obviously being the main piece that you kind of want in the center, and this little line was very easy to line up. And yeah, it's just very, very cool. The other changes that I've done, I've literally just added a few more of a like glow effects in the background just to kind of brighten up the screens in the background a little bit, as you can see. So it's just a little bit of brightness added. I've added a different kind of text approach. So I've kept it all to one font with just 2 weights. And I've really kind of gone for this film kind of documentary style look that you see on Netflix quite a lot. Very simple typography used, but very in your face, very strong. So now you've got the before, now you've got the after. I've kind of just moved the stats, and rather than including the date, because when I actually looked back at what I did have the date on originally underneath, but it looked like I don't know, something happened to him, or if he had an accident, or if he died. It didn't really give off the vibe of what you were kind of going for. So I've just kind of removed that, and I've just added the club name and obviously all the stats going across the top. I think it works really, really well, but it's such a strong piece that, again, I've not done that much. The only thing that I really kind of played around with was with this edge lighting that you've got going on the chair, just to help it kind of stand out from the background a bit more and make it grounded in the design a little bit more. Because obviously you've got these glowing screens in the background essentially floating around, and they're going to be casting a blue light on the environment and obviously on the chair and the cutout that you've got. So I've just kind of added a little bit of a glow on the edges just to kind of help frame it a little bit. But this is such a cool design. Like, looking at it now, it's so cool. Really, really nicely done, Yasser. There wasn't really much, again, like I've said, that I could do to improve this. So it's a very strong submission. You probably didn't really need to send this through. But obviously I appreciate all the submissions. And if you did want my advice, obviously that's why you've done it. But there wasn't much for me to change. It's a very, very strong piece. Very, very nicely done. Really love the concept as well. Very kind of out there and unique and quirky, which again is great. So big fan of the work. Thank you so much for sending this through, and thank you for the other 2 submissions as well. I really appreciate it. It obviously keeps the help. It helps the series to continue. And I know I've been slacking a little bit with the episode on this, but I promise to get the remaining 2 or 3 within the next couple of weeks and catch up on the submissions. And obviously, if you guys again would like to switch to a more of a streaming kind of aspect rather than this being actual videos, please do let me know in the comments below. And as I do think it will be quite a nice way to kind of get to know everyone and kind of interact with people in real time, and to talk through my changes of what I'm doing. And yeah, just to kind of get a bit more interaction with you guys, see what you guys are thinking, and get through potentially more designs than I would in a video as well. Rather than having 3 per episode, I could, really give my quick thoughts on certain pieces and do a little bit of a redesign, or literally just give you guys feedback as well and talk through what I've been doing. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and a comment, and obviously I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button so you could see more of my videos. And a massive thank you to the 3 submissions. All of the social links will be down in the description below, and I hope to see you all guys in the next episode.